Court's in session. All right. Call in the jury, please. The jury's ready? Okay. Swear in the witness, please. Please state your full name and correct spelling for the record. Rico Jackson. Mr. Jackson, how old are you? 34, sir. All right. And are you currently in jail? Yes, sir. All right. Would you recognize your plea agreement if I showed it to you? Correct, sir. All right. I'd move to admit and publish Exhibit 185. Any objection? No objection. Hearing no objection, let Government's Exhibit 185 is admitted into evidence. All right. Mr. Jackson, do you recognize that document? Correct, sir. All right. And you understand you signed a global plea agreement? Correct, sir. All right. So you pled guilty in both the state and the DA's office and also in federal court as well, correct? Yes, sir. And you understood that you had to plead guilty to a racketeering conspiracy count, correct? Correct. All right. And you also pled guilty to the murder of Renetta Lowe and Jerome Hampton as a crime in furtherance of racketeering. Correct. All right. And you understand that both those crimes carry a sentence of mandatory life in prison, correct? Correct. Okay. And you understood that your state court charges, where you were on the 3NG indictment, you pled guilty down there and got 15 years, correct? Correct. All right. And you pled guilty to heroin, cocaine distribution, and racketeering in state court as well, correct? Correct. All right. And you understand that these, whatever sentence you get, that they're going to run concurrently, correct? Correct. All right. We also agreed not to seek the death penalty against you, correct? All right. You agreed to be interviewed and give truthful information to the government? Correct. And you agreed if we called you to testify, you would agree to do that, correct? Correct. You understand, as part of your cooperation, you're hoping to get your sentence cut, correct? Correct. But you understand that only Judge Zaney can do that, right? Correct. All right. And you and your attorney and the U.S. Attorney's Office and the DA's office all signed this document as well, correct? Correct. Now, as you sit here today, have you been sentenced yet? No, sir. Again, you understand that Judge Zaney will be the judge who sentences you, correct? Correct. As part of your plea agreement, we agree that if you advise us of any crimes we didn't know about, that you wouldn't be charged with those, correct? Correct. And I believe today you've advised us of 4 other murders you participated in? Something like that. Judge, I object to leading. All right. Don't lead, counsel. And you've told us about other murders you participated in, correct? Correct. Okay. And how many murders besides Magnolia, Shorty, and Jerome Hampton, how many other murders have you participated in your life? Like 6. 6? 6. 6 total or 7 total? 7 total. Yes, sir. Okay. Can you list the other people that you've been involved with? Yes. All right. Can you tell the jury who else you've told us about killing? The people? Yes. B from out the Calliope. Big dude. Where was Big Dude from? From out the Calliope. Gutter from out the Calliope. Did you kill any drug addicts? Yes. Who was that? I forgot. John. His name John. Okay. Was there anybody else? A guy named Corey. Where was Corey from? Out to Calliope. All right. Where did you grow up, Mr. Jackson? I was raised on Magazine and Napoleon in the 13th, but I grew up in the 3rd Ward off 2nd and Galvez. All right. And what was your connection to 2nd and Galvez? My family stayed there. Okay. And grandmother. Your grandmother? Yes. All right. Did they rent there or did they have a house? Owned it. They owned a house. Okay. And how many family members did you have living over by 2nd and Galvez? A few uncles, a few aunties, a whole lot of cousins. How often would you hang out over there? Every day. Okay. Did you eventually move closer to that area? Yes, I moved on Louisiana Parkway. All right. How old were you when you moved to Louisiana Parkway? Like 12, making 13. All right. And who were you living over there with? My mother. Okay. And do you have any brothers or sisters? Yes. How many? 6. 6? 2, yeah, 2 brothers and 4 sisters. And were you all living together? Yes. When did you start selling drugs? Around the age of 15, 16. All right. And what were you selling? Marijuana. All right. Where were you getting marijuana from? Numerous of people. What kind of people? Numerous, like different people. Numerous? Yes. Okay. Did you know someone named Kendrick Rodney or Little Man? Yes. All right. And how did you get to know Little Man? He grew up on 3rd and Galvez right around me. Okay. Would you recognize his photo if I showed it to you? Correct. Is this Little? Yes. And do you know this person? Yes. What's his nickname? Black. Okay. How do you know Black? I grew up with him. Okay. What was Little Man's reputation when you were growing up? Is he older or younger than you? Older than me. Okay. What was his reputation? Kind. He's humble. He's humble, but, he sold... What? What did he do for a living? He sold drugs. Okay. And what kind of drugs? Dope. Coke. Well, tell the jury what dope is. Heroin. Heroin. And what kind of money did Little Man make from that? Objection. Speculative. Sustained. Did Little Man have money? Yes, sir. Okay. How could you tell? He had nice things. Cars and motorbikes. Nice clothes. What was Black's reputation? He's been known for killing people. Where did you go to school in New Orleans? McDonough 7, elementary, Sophie B. Wright, middle school, and Clark High School. And where was Clark High School located? 3rd and Toledano, no, 3rd and Tonti. Okay. And how far from 2nd and Galvez is that? About 4 blocks. All right. Did you graduate from Clark? No, sir. How old were you? Were you put out or did you leave? I got put out. All right. And what year was that? Like 98, I think. What did you do for a living after you got put out? I sold drugs. All right. And what kind of drugs were you selling? A little bit of coke and heroin. And how long did you sell drugs for? I've been selling drugs damn near all my life, since I started selling weed. Did you go to jail in 2004? Yes. Yes. All right. And how long were you in jail? I came home 2005, June. And what did you go to jail for? Parole violation. Where were you when Katrina hit? I was locked up. I got out of jail in 05, but I wound up getting locked back up on a parole violation. Then I got out, and I stayed a couple months, like 4 months. Got out in, like, October and went to Texas. And why did you go to Texas? Because that's where my mother was living at. All right. And were any of your friends from 3rd and Galvez in Texas? Correct. Who was over there? Me, Lonnie. Who's Lonnie? Rilla. Okay. QP. T. Darryl. Weefus. Okay. And how did you know all those guys? They were from my neighborhood. Okay. Where were you staying over there? I was living with my mother. She was staying right off of Nelson. Were you ever involved in or witnessed a shooting at the Studio Plus? Yes. All right. What happened with that? Tell the jury about that. One day we was at the Studio Plus hotel. One of my friends had called the phone saying somebody was saying that man was chasing him and wanted to kill him he wanted to kill him. So, all right, hold on. Just so I'm clear, the person being chased called you? Yes. Okay. And he said, Man is chasing me? Yes. Did you know who Man was? Yes. Yes. All right. Who was Man? Man from out the Calliope project. All right. What is the relationship between 3rd and Galvez and the Calliope? We beef with each other. We've been beefing with each other for a while. Okay. And you mentioned, 3 or 4 people you killed from the Calliope, correct? Correct. All right. And was that part of that beef? Yes, sir. All right. So after you get this phone call, what did you do? I met him in the lobby, and did you have a gun? Yes. All right. And then what happened? As he's telling me the story, how's he telling you the story? He's telling me man coming. How's he telling you? Are you on the phone? No, we face to face. All right. What happened? So as he's telling me the story, a guy named Steve from out the 7th Ward coming in while he reached for the door, and Man shot him in the head. So I started shooting toward the door at Man and he took off running. Did you know Steve from the 7th Ward? No, I never knew him. Okay. But you saw Man shoot him? Yes. All right. And you shot back at Man? Yes. Do you know if you hit him? No. All right. What happened next? I take off running toward the hallway. The police come and I dished the gun off, and they once I dished the gun off, I went outside to see who it was shot, and the police pulled up. So they started rounding up people, like 5 guys from off Galvez, and brought them all down for questioning. Okay. And when you say you ditched the gun off, what do you mean? I gave somebody the gun to hold. And do you remember who was with you when you all went to the police station? Me, Washington McCaskill, Chris McCann, I think, Controy Hickerson, Lance Bennett, and Travell Taylor. Okay. And how long were you at the police station? We all stayed for about an hour and a half. All right. Were you arrested that night? No. All right. Did you tell them what you had seen or what happened? No. Okay. How did you get out of the police station that night? I mean, they just questioned us and asked. They asked where we was and, did we have an alibi? And that was that. All right. Did there come a time later when you told the police what you had seen? By me giving them a false name, they put out an attachment for me. Well, explain that to the jury. What do you mean you gave them a false name? I gave them my brother's name. Okay. And what's your brother's name? Deshaun Jackson. And is he older or younger than you? He older than me. All right. How did they figure out you gave them a fake name? Because the next day, my brother and my cousin brought Duke, who was on the scene yesterday. Well, the day the shooting happened, he dropped his keys. So they towed his car. So, and this is Duke's car? Yes. Okay. So they brought Duke to go get his car, and the police pulled him over. Well, stopped him at the impound and brought him down for questioning. And when they got to my brother, they told him that somebody named Deshaun was already there. So my brother told them that it was me. Okay. And once the police figured that out, they did what? They put a warrant out for me. Okay. And then my brother told me. When he told me, I just called them because they was trying to charge me for murder. So I just called them and I told them what happened. Okay. And when you told them what happened, did you tell them who you saw shot Steve? Yes. All right. And who shot Steve? Man. Okay. Do you know what happened to Man? No. Did he go to jail in Texas? I heard he did. Was it good or bad that you made a statement on him? It was bad. Why? Because that's something that we're not supposed to do. What do you mean? At that time, it wasn't something I was supposed to do. All right. What do you mean you're not supposed to do that? At that time, I wasn't supposed to make no statement on nobody. I wasn't supposed to tell on nobody. But I don't understand. Man is from the Calliope, right? Yeah, but that didn't mean nothing. That didn't mean anything. Ratting. Telling is telling. So even though he's from a rival gang and he could be trying to kill you, you can't tell? Correct. Did you later learn that Man was upset about that? What you said? Did you learn later that Man was upset? Yes, I found out that he was. Now, after this, did you come straight back to New Orleans or did you ever live in Baton Rouge? When I got out of jail, I moved to Baton Rouge. All right. And were you in jail in Texas? Yes. All right. For what? They violated my parole. Okay. For what? For getting caught with a firearm. I had got caught with a firearm, and my PO had found out about it. And she found out about the misrepresentation of name. So she violated my parole. All right. After Katrina, when did you first move back full-time to New Orleans? Full-time, 2010. Okay. And when you came back in 2010, what were you doing for a living? Really nothing. A friend of mine gave me some dope to make a few dollars with. All right. Who's your friend? McCoy. McCoy Walker? Yeah. And do you know who McCoy Walker was getting his heroin from? He was telling me about this guy named Brother. Judge, I don't think that there's a predicate that this is in the course of the conspiracy or that this is a proper co-conspirator statement. Lay a predicate. You just stated McCoy Walker was giving you heroin, correct? Objection. He didn't say that. Overruled. Go ahead. Well, sustained at this time. Lay a predicate. If someone gives you heroin, you're in a conspiracy with them, correct? Right. Not that. Objection. Calls for a legal conclusion. I object. Objection sustained. Date. Go through. Lay a foundation. He just said how he moved back in 2010, Judge. And it really wouldn't matter the day. He can say what McCoy told him if he's giving him heroin. A buyer-seller relationship doesn't, as it relates, create a conspiracy. What's that? Objection sustained. Rephrase your question. Was McCoy Walker from 3rd and Galvez? Yes. Was McCoy Walker, did he sell drugs with 3rd and Galvez? Yes. Did he handle guns with 3rd and Galvez? Yes. All right. Did you do those things too? Yes. All right. And while we're at it, did Terrius Oni sell drugs with 3rd and Galvez? Yes. All right. Did Terrius Oni have guns with 3rd and Galvez too? Yes. All right. Same question, Damian Barnes. Did Damian Barnes sell drugs? Yes. Okay. Did Damian Barnes have guns? Yes. Okay. What did McCoy Walker tell you about where he was getting his heroin? He was telling me about a guy from out the 9th Ward named... Objection. Hearsay. Overruled. You can go ahead. He was telling me about this guy Breezy from out of the 9th Ward, saying how they had been linked up or whatever. Did you eventually meet members or guys from the 9th Ward? Yeah, a few of them. All right. Who did you meet? I met Evans. I met Leroy. I met Gregory Stewart. Brother. I met Merle. And where were the guys off 3rd and Galvez getting their heroin? At that time, brother, I think. All right. And you were getting heroin from McCoy Walker, correct? Or you did? It wasn't. It wasn't an ongoing thing. It just was like 1 or 2 times. Okay. Did you ever hear of something called the 39ers? Yes, I heard about it. All right. What was the 39ers? 3rd and Galvez in the 9th Ward, Gallia. Okay. And who was a part of the 39ers? Members from off 3rd and Galvez and members from out of the 9th Ward. All right. The 10 guys at this table, were they from the 39ers? Yes. Objection, Judge. Objection, Judge. I mean, he hasn't even named any of the objections sustained. You're leading. Go ahead. He can say no. Were the 10 people at this table part of the 39ers? Yes. Objection. Judge, if there's 20, it's still leading. Objection sustained. Rephrase your question. All right. How many people were part of the 39ers? It was a lot. Was Terrius Oney a part of the 39ers? Correct. Was Ashton Price or Pound part of the 39ers? Correct. Okay, Your Honor, leading. You're still leading, counsel. Okay. Can you tell me the members of the 39ers? Well, do you see any members of the 39ers in this courtroom? Yes. Okay. Do you know their names? Yes. A.D., Evans, Pound, T-Red, McCoy, Woody, Saul Black, Pooney, Pound. Your Honor, at this time I'd move to establish a conspiracy's been, or move to say a conspiracy has been sustained. Well, I've already let you ask some co-conspirator questions, so I've already found that by preponderance of the evidence. Go ahead and proceed. All right. What was the 39ers about? Did everybody, or do most people sell drugs? Yes. Okay. And what kind of drugs were you all selling? Mostly heroin. Okay. What were you selling? Heroin. And who would you get your heroin from? From brother. All right. Where was Little Man in 2010? He was locked up. Okay. And where was he locked up? Do you know? In federal custody. Federal custody? Yes. Okay. Did you ever go see Little Man? Yes. All right. What did he tell you about the guys from the 9th Ward? He told me that they was cool. Did you ever get drugs from Little Man? When I was younger, yes. Okay. In 2010 and 2011, were you selling heroin? Yes. All right. Describe to the jury how you would sell heroin. Like bags, 20s, grams. Okay. How much does a gram cost? Probably like $100. $100 a gram. Okay. And remember, please try and speak up. How much is a 20? What does a 20 mean? A $20 bag. Okay. When you get heroin, would it already be packaged for individual sale, or did you have to bag it up yourself? No, you got to bag it up yourself. Break it down. And when you got heroin, you said you were getting it from brother? Yes. How much would you get? Probably like 2 ounces. Okay. And how much would that cost? It's like $2,000 an ounce. And then what would you do with the heroin once you got it? I'd break it down. All right. Describe to the jury how you break it down. Break it down to grams and bundles. $20 bags, $100 grams, quarters. And did you need a scale to do that? Yes. All right. Did you ever cut your heroin? Yes. And how would you cut your heroin? Mannitol. I used mannitol. All right. And describe to the jury how you do that. You mix the mannitol with the heroin. It stretches the dope. And how much heroin or how much mannitol can your heroin take? It all depends on how strong the dope is. What was good dope? Something that could take like 3 or 4. Okay, how much could take 3 or 4 what? It could take like 3 or 4 more, either grams or ounces. Okay, so you're saying a gram could take of cut, the mannitol. The dope could take either 7 grams of mannitol or an ounce or 2 of mannitol. All right, but how much heroin are you putting the 7 grams of mannitol in? 1 ounce of heroin, you probably could put like 2 ounces of mannitol on it. If the dope could take like a 3. So you could turn 1 ounce into 3. Yes. Where were you selling it at this time? 3rd and Galvez. Did you have like customers? How did that work? I mean, people will pull up on 2nd and Johnson and get it. Different people. No regular customers. All right. Would you recognize photos of people hustling near 2nd and Prairie if I showed it to you? Yes. All right. I'd move to publish what's already been admitted as Exhibit 324I. Government 324I. Okay. Do you recognize where we're looking at? Yes, sir. And where is that? That's on 2nd and Prairie. All right. Would you consider that 3rd and Galvez territory? Correct. Have you ever seen this car before? Yes, sir. Whose car is that? Brother's. All right. Who's this? That's me. Okay. Who's that? AD. Do you know who this is? Yeah, that's McCoy. Do you know who this is? That's Woody. Who? That's T-Bone. My bad, that's T-Bone. All right. Do you know who this guy is? Yeah, that's Michael. Do you know who this is? Yeah, that's Lonnie Ingram. Do you know who this is? Yeah, that's T. Darrell. Can you tell what AD is doing right here? Yeah, he's serving somebody, giving somebody some crack. All right. Is this where you sold drugs to, in this area? Yes. How much heroin were you selling? Probably a quarter in 2 days. Do you know whose car this is? Yeah, Buck's. Do you know who this is screaming? QP. All right. Do you know who this is? McCoy. All right. Do you know who this is? Yeah, AD. Were you using or did you carry guns during this time? Sir? Did you carry firearms during this time? Yes. All right. Why? For protection. All right. Protection from who? Anybody I may have offended. Were there particular groups you all had problems with? The Calliope. Okay. In those slides, well, let me ask this. Who else sold drugs out there at near 2nd and Prairie? Nobody else. What's that? Nobody else. Well, besides me? Besides you. Everybody from off 3rd and Galvez. Okay. Now, I'm going to show you some photos. Do you know Terrius Oni? Correct. All right. McCoy Walker? Correct. Washington McCaskill? Correct. All right. AD? Yes. All right. That's you? Yes. All right. And QP? Yes. All right. Did all those people sell drugs at this time? Correct. All right. Now, you also got to know some of the downtown guys, correct? Sir? You also got to know some of the downtown guys, correct? Correct. All right. Did Merle O'Fray sell drugs? I never seen him sell drugs. Okay. What was his reputation? He was one of the older ones. Okay. Did Breezy sell drugs? Yes. Sold to you, correct? Yes. All right. What about Gregory Stewart? Yes. All right. And did he sell drugs to you? Yes. All right. Did you ever see Evan sell drugs? No. All right. Did you ever see Evans with a gun? No. Okay. Did you ever see Pound sell drugs? No. Okay. Did you ever see him with a gun? Uh-uh. Did you ever see Jasmine Perry sell drugs? Uh-uh. Ever see him with a gun? No. All right. Did you ever have any dealings with Leroy Price? Yes. Leroy brought me some dope from Breezy one time. Did you ever see Leroy with a gun? No, not to my knowledge. Okay. Solomon Doyle? No. All right. Alonzo Peters? No. Pooney? Curtis Neville? No. Judge, I just object. I don't know what he's saying no to. He's just asking them. I'm asking if he personally observed these people sell drugs or possess guns. Okay, just be more specific. Okay. All right. For record purposes, since we have a number of defendants, ask per name. Okay. I apologize, Your Honor. Well, and you have been doing that mostly, but just keep going. Okay. Thank you. All right. Did there come a time when you came back to New Orleans that you killed Man, correct? Correct. All right. How did that happen? When did you start seeing Man in New Orleans? When he came home, I seen him one time in a club. Okay. In what club? The Sports View. All right. And what happened when you saw him in the Sports View? Well, me and McCoy went outside and waited on him. Okay. And what were you all waiting to do? Kill him. Okay. And where were you all waiting? In a car across the street from the club. All right. Did you have a gun? Yes. Did McCoy Walker have a gun? Yes. All right. What happened that night? Some kind of way he slipped through the crowd. Did Man talk to you in the club? No. All right. So you all weren't able to shoot him that night, correct? Correct. All right. What happened next? We left. It was over with. Okay. How many days passed until you finally killed Man? Like a week. Okay. And what happened the day you killed Man? I was on second and prayer. Gregory Stewart pulled up in a car, and what kind of car did he come in? A white Crown Vic. All right. And what happened next? I seen AD running to go get in the car with the gun. So I stopped him and I asked him. I told him to let me go. All right. Well, who was Gregory Stewart with? T-Red, T-Bone, and McCoy. Did you see T-Red and Rabbit together a lot? Yes. Okay. How often would you see them together? All the time. And you said you saw AD running in the car. Did you know what was about to go down? No. Okay. All right. Well, did you walk over there and ask what was happening? Yes. All right. And what did you say? What did you specifically say? When I seen him jumping in the car, I asked him where he was going. They told me they were looking. We were going to kill Man. So I asked him to give me the gun and let me go with them. Okay. Why did you do that? Because I knew he wanted to kill me by me making that statement on him. Man? Yeah. Okay. And did AD give you the gun? Yes. Who else? Did you get in the Crown Vic? I think everybody else was already in there. Okay. And who was in the car? Me, McCoy, T-Red, T-Bone, and Gregory Stewart. Did you see any guns in the car? Yes. What gun did AD give you? AD gave me a handgun. Okay. All right. And when you got in the car, how many guns were in the car, do you think? 4. Do you remember who was driving? Not at that time. Okay. What did you all do next? When I jumped in the car, we pulled toward the Calliope and went and circled around looking for Man, but we didn't see him. So we was headed back on second and prayer, and somebody in the car said, let's go in the east. They think he might be in the east. So we went in the east, and that's where he was at. How did you all get to the east? We drove in the white Crown Vic. Okay. And where did you all stop in the east? Where did we? Where did you all go in the East? At this apartment complex called Georgetown. How did you know to go to the Georgetown apartments? I didn't know. Somebody in the car knew where to go at. Okay. What happened when you got to the Georgetown apartments? We pulled in. We parked. We parked for like about a minute or two, and then somebody in the car said, go to the gas station to get something, some cigars or something. So we pulled out of the apartment complex and pulled up to the gas station. Do you remember, was there a gate at the apartment complex? Yes. How did you get in the gate? It was coded. T-Red knew the code, passcode. All right. Then you go to the store. What happens at the store? I signaled, I told McCoy to call up somebody who was sitting outside the gas station to come to the car. And why did you want to call somebody to the car? I didn't want none of us to get out and be seen on camera. And what happened when the guy came to the car? They gave him the money to get whatever they wanted, and then he went in and got it and came back. All right. And what did you all do after that? We pulled back in the apartment complex. All right. Who's in the car at this point? Me, T-Bone, Gregory Stewart, T-Red, and McCoy. All right. How long have you known McCoy Walker at this point? I've been knowing McCoy since a baby. Okay. How long have you been knowing T-Red at this point? Since T-Red was probably like 10, 9, 10. All right. How long have you been knowing T-Bone at this point? Since he was a baby. All right. How long have you known Rabbit at this point? Not that long. Okay. Were you comfortable going with Rabbit? No, sir. All right. So why did you agree to go try and kill Man with him? Because McCoy told me that he was cool. Okay. And what does cool mean? That he wouldn't snitch on us if we got jammed up. What was Man's reputation? He killed people. All right. After you get the cigar, what happens next? We pulled back in the apartment complex and wait. We waited for like about 5-10 minutes. It wasn't that long. A white Malibu pulled up. All right. What gun do you have at this point? I switched the handgun to the assault rifle. Okay. And who did you switch with? Do you remember? I think I switched with T-Red. No, I switched with McCoy because he was in the front. Okay. And what did McCoy have? He had the rifle at first. Okay. Do you remember who was driving? T-Bone was driving. Okay. And who else was in the back seat with you? It was me, Gregory Stewart, and T-Red. Did T-Red and Rabbit have guns? Yes. All right. Do you know what kind of guns they had? T-Red had a rifle and Stewart had a handgun. All right. And you said you saw a Malibu? Yes. All right. What happened next? Me and McCoy jumped out. He shot first and I shot behind him. All right. Where did McCoy shoot in the car? I don't know if he landed or not. All right. Were you aiming for a particular part of the car? No, sir. Okay. How many times did you shoot? We both fired one shot, and then the car sped past us and ran into a gate. All right. What did you do when it hit the gate? When it hit the gate, I was unjamming my gun because it had been jammed up, and T-Red and Rabbit was shooting already. And what did you do? Once I unjammed my gun, I went toward the car and started shooting. All right. What part of the car were you shooting from? I was at the back, the passenger side, the back of the passenger side. How many times did you shoot? Probably about from 13 to 15 times. Okay. Where was McCoy Walker? McCoy Walker and Gregory Stewart was in the front of the car. And where was T-Red? T-Red was on the side of me. Where was T-Bone while all this was going on? Sitting in the car. How long did you all keep shooting? It lasted like about 2 to 3 minutes, I think. What did you do after you were done shooting? We jumped in the car and pulled off. All right. How many people did you see in the car? 2. Okay. Did you know they were dead? When we pulled off, yes. How did you know they were dead? Because we shot a lot of times. Okay. When you all got back in the car, what did you all do? Jumped in the car. We pulled out of the apartment and headed toward the 9th Ward. And where in the 9th Ward did you all go? By Breezy House. And what did you do with the car? We pulled it in the back of an apartment complex, pulled it in the back, and jumped out. What did you do with the guns? We gave them to Gregory and he stashed them. Where did you all go after he stashed the guns? We hopped the gate and went by Brother. Did you see Daryl Franklin out there? Yes, he was out there. Did you tell him what happened? Yes. All right. On the ride back, did you know who had been with Man Man? No. Did anyone speculate about who had been with Man Man? McCoy said it was Renetta, but me and T-Red was saying it wasn't. All right. Why didn't you think it was? I mean, why? I don't know. I just thought, I didn't know they was dealing. I didn't know it was a female. I never knew it was a female in the car. Did you know Magnolia, Shorty? Yes. All right. How did you know her? I went to school with her. Were you friends with her? Yeah, she was cool. When did you learn you had just killed Magnolia Shorty? Like, later on that day. Like, later on, that night. What did you tell McCoy when you found out it was Magnolia Shorty? I mean, I told him not to say anything. All right. Would you recognize photos from that scene if I showed it to you? Yes. Okay. I'm going to publish Exhibit 180. Is this the car you were shooting? Yes. And you were standing behind it? Yes. How close to the car did you get? I wasn't that close up on it. All right. Does this look like the apartment complex? Correct. All right. Do you know where Rabbit and McCoy Walker were standing? I wasn't watching them. They was in the front. Okay. And what type of gun were you shooting that day? An assault rifle. Do you know what type of bullets it shot? No, sir. Do you know whose gun it was? No, sir. Did the 39ers, did you all share guns? Yes, sir. Okay. Well, explain to the jury how that would work. I mean, whoever needed a gun, we would swap it out, loan it to them. They could come and get it, or we could go and get their guns or whatever. All right. And where were you living at this time? I was living in Avondale. Did your family still have a home near 2nd and Galvez? Sir? Did you and your family still have a home near? Yes. Would you ever hang out there? On 2nd? Yeah, my family stayed on 2nd and Muro. Did you have a friend named G-Baby? Yes. All right. What happened to G-Baby? He got killed. When did you find out G-Baby had been killed? Later on that night he was killed. What did you do when you found out G-Baby was dead? I was in Baton Rouge. I had just made it to Baton Rouge when I found out he got killed. So what did you do? I didn't come back down until the next morning. And when you got back, were people upset? Yes. Were you upset? Yes. Did there ever come a time where 39ers went and shot in the Calliope? Yes. Were you out there the day they went into the Calliope and shot? Yes. All right. Who was out there and where were you? We was in front of my grandma's house. Wash had pulled up and they had a few guys sitting out in front of my grandmother's house. I think it was Rabbit jumped in the car and Nellie. Rabbit jumped in the car, Miguel jumped in the car, and Nellie was about to get in the car, and I told Wash to let AD go instead of Nellie. Why did you say that? Because AD wanted to go. So I just let him, Told him to go instead of Nellie. What was wrong with Nellie? Nothing wasn't wrong with him. And what guns were they taking? 2 assault rifles and a 9 Taurus or Beretta. Okay. And where did the 9mm come from? I gave the 9mm to Miguel. Okay. And who was Miguel? Money. All right. And who was Money related to? G baby. Okay. And tell me about the 9 you gave him. Was it a good gun? Sir? Was it a good gun? No. What was wrong with it? It had tape on the clip. All right. Did you watch them all leave? Yes. All right. What happened next? Once they pulled off, it was over with. I didn't see them no more. Okay. Did you hear anything? Later on that day, AD come in the house lying, talking about how he killed the dude. AD said that? Yeah. All right. How did you know he was lying? Because Rabbit came in right behind him, like about a few hours behind him, and said the opposite. Okay. And Rabbit said what? Rabbit said that he killed him. Okay. Were they specific about how they killed him? Yeah. Both of them said it the same exact way, but when Rabbit started saying it, AD didn't deny it. So, you know. Did you think AD was taking credit for what Rabbit had done? Yes. All right. Did you ever see Money after that? No, I didn't see Money. Would you recognize the gun that wasn't very good if I showed it to you? Yes. I'm going to show you what's been admitted as Exhibit 224. Yes. All right. And how do you recognize that? Because of the clip. And what about the clip particularly? I had taped it up. All right. Why did you put tape on the magazine? So it wouldn't slip out the gun. All right. And where had you gotten this gun? From Baton Rouge. Just to be clear, AD never denied participating in that shooting. He was just trying to take credit for standing over the guy killing him? Yes. Okay. Do you remember being arrested with a .40 caliber Glock? Yes. All right. Do you remember how that happened? I was at the gas station. All right. Would you recognize a surveillance video of that event if I showed it to you? Yes. And Rico, did people in your group give nicknames to their guns? Yes. I've come to find out. Yes. Okay. But did you ever say things like that? Did you ever say the words Barack or Michelle? No, sir. Is this 183? Yes, Your Honor. And who were you with this night? Me and T-Bone. Okay. Do you know whose car this is? Yes, that's T-Red. All right. And what kind of car did T-Red have? That's an Infiniti. What kind of car did you have at this time? An Infiniti. What color was your Infiniti? Black. How did you pay for that car? How did you make money to buy an Infiniti? Selling dope. Do you know who this is? Yeah, that's T-Red. All right. Do you know who was with T-Red that night? Yeah, that's Lonnie. All right. Is this your car? Yes. Who else was with you all that night? A few guys from off 3rd and Galvez and out the 9th Ward. And who was with you from the 9th Ward? Leroy. What had you all been doing that night? Just riding around. Why did you have a gun with you? Earlier that day, we was at the car wash and somebody who I was with thought they seen somebody from out the Calliope, so I went and got it. Who was driving your car? T-Bone. All right. Is that T-Bone? Yes. Do you know who this is? Yeah, that's Leroy. What did you do when you saw the police outside? I was about to go walk towards him to see what was going on, and he told me to step back. He told me to go go back in the store. But I was trying to explain to him and let him know that was my car. Is that Leroy there or somebody else? Sir, is that Leroy? Yes. All right. And what happened now? I'm getting a registration for him. Did you know you had a gun in the car? Yes. What were your plans for that? Grab it and run. Did you know that gun had been used in any crimes? No, sir. Where had you gotten that gun? Across the street from my grandmother's house. And what happened here? He took off behind me and opened fire. He shot at me. Did you point your gun at him? No, sir. Is that you running? Yes. What did you do with the gun? I threw it. All right. And were you able to get away from the police that night? Sir? Were you able to get away from the police? Yes, sir. Were you eventually arrested that night? Yes, sir. If I showed you the gun, could you tell me if it looked like the gun you had that night? Yes. I don't expect you to remember the serial number. I know it's short. I know it's small. Could I see Exhibit 253? Again, I don't expect you to memorize the serial number. That's it. But does that look like the gun you had? Yeah. What exhibit number is that? That is 253, Your Honor. All right. Do you know guys from the Calliope named Lester and Maul? Yes. Yes. All right. And what was their reputation? Maul was kind of young. I didn't really know too much of Maul, but Lester had come up under Man. Did McCoy Walker ever tell you about catching Lester? Yeah. One time I came from Baton Rouge. We was in a park and they had some shirts on. And what did the shirts have on it? Judge, I object. There's no predicate to show this was during and in furtherance. Objection sustained. Lay a foundation. Would you all tell each other about crimes you committed? Yes. Would you tell each other especially about things with the Calliope? Yes. Why would you all tell each other that? Just so we could be aware of what's going on. Did McCoy Walker tell you about a shooting he had committed on the Calliope? Yes. All right. Tell the jury about that. With Lester? Yep. I mean, he didn't get into no detail about it. All right. What did he tell you? He just told me that they caught up with him. And did he say, what does that mean, caught up with him? The witness already said he didn't give him no detail. Okay. Ask specific questions. What did caught up with him mean? He smashed him, killed him. All right. You have some prior convictions, correct? Correct. In 2002, you were convicted of distribution of marijuana and possession of cocaine? Yes. Okay. In 2006, you pled guilty to a weapons charge in Texas? Yes. In 2012, you pled guilty to attempted possession of a firearm by a felon. And that was the video we just saw where you threw down the gun? Yes. Okay. And you got an 8-year sentence for that? Yes. And in 2013, you pled guilty to possession of cocaine and in Point Coupee Parish? Yes. And then obviously in the state 3NG trial, you pled guilty to racketeering charges, heroin charges, and cocaine charges? Yes. All right. And then in this case, you pled guilty to the racketeering conspiracy and the murders of Magnolia, Shorty, and Jerome Hampton, correct? Correct. All right. When you were on the street, did you take Lortabs? Every now and then. What is Lortab? Pain pills. Did you ever sip codeine or lean? Yes. All right. And what is lean? A drink. Well, something similar to Robitussin. Why did you plead guilty in this case? Because I was guilty. All right. You participated in the murder of Magnolia, Shorty, and Jerome Hampton? Yes. 1 second. All right. Thank you. Please answer defense counsel's questions. Memorize the serial number. That's it.